My name is Maya. I am 27 years old and I am a painter. I live alone in a small studio apartment in Brooklyn. It is not big, but it is quiet, and the light from the window is perfect for my work. Every morning I wake up and paint. It is the only thing that makes me feel alive. Painting is my dream, but dreams do not always pay rent. Some months are good. A collector buys one of my large canvases and suddenly my bank account feels full. I buy fresh groceries. I cook real meals. I feel proud, like I am finally doing something right with my life. But other months, nothing sells. Weeks pass, then months. My savings disappear slowly, quietly, like water leaking from a cracked glass. I start eating cheap food, bread, soup, rice. I stop going out. I stop answering messages from friends. The rent, however, never waits. At first, I missed one payment. I told myself I would fix it soon. Then I missed the second month. By the third month, my account was empty. I stared at my phone every night, hoping for a message from a buyer. None came. My landlord's name was Daniel. He owned the building and lived nearby. He usually sent polite reminders, short messages asking when I could pay. I stopped replying. I felt embarrassed, ashamed. I stayed inside my apartment as much as possible. I avoided the hallway. I avoided the world. Then one afternoon, there was a knock at my door. My heart jumped into my throat. I already knew who it was. I opened the door slowly. Daniel stood there wearing a jacket, his face calm but serious. "Maya," he said, "we need to talk." He stepped inside without waiting for an invitation. The air felt heavy. "It's been 3 months," he continued. "I can't ignore this anymore." I nodded. My hands were shaking. "I know," I said quietly. "Please, just give me one more week. I'm talking to someone about a painting. I just need a little time." Daniel didn't raise his voice. He didn't threaten me. That somehow made it worse. He looked tired, not angry, just tired. "You always say that," he said softly. He stood closer than I expected. I could smell his cologne. My chest felt tight. I hadn't been close to anyone in a long time. Loneliness has a strange way of making everything feel intense. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then he asked, "Is there another way we can handle this?" I didn't understand at first. I thought he meant paperwork, a payment plan. But the way he looked at me, it wasn't professional. I realized what he was suggesting, and my stomach turned. I should have stepped back. I should have told him to leave. But I didn't. I was scared of losing my home. I was tired of being alone. I wanted to feel wanted just once. That night, we crossed a line that never should have existed. In the morning, everything felt different. Daniel avoided my eyes as he got dressed. The warmth from the night before was gone. He thanked me quietly and left. I sat on the bed, staring at the wall, trying to understand what had just happened. Days passed. No message, no call. Then, one evening, I heard whispers in the hallway. 2 neighbors stood near the stairs. When they saw me, they went silent. I smiled awkwardly and walked past them. Behind me, a woman's voice said, "That's her, the one who pays rent in other ways." My body froze. I ran back into my apartment and locked the door. My face burned with shame. The rumors spread fast, too fast. That night, Daniel came back. He didn't apologize. He didn't ask how I was. He said the gossip was hurting his reputation, that people were talking, that it wasn't good for business. Then he said the words that broke something inside me. "You need to move out." I realized then that I was never a person to him, just a problem, just a mistake he wanted erased. I took a deep breath and looked him in the eyes. "I didn't do this for money," I said. "I trusted you, and you failed me." I started packing. Daniel didn't stop me. When I walked out of that apartment, my heart was heavy, but for the first time in months, I felt free. I slept on a friend's couch for a while. It wasn't comfortable, but it was quiet, and no one asked me for anything. I carried my paintings in cardboard sleeves, afraid the corners would bend. Every night, I wondered if leaving was a mistake. But deep inside, I knew it wasn't. After a few weeks, I found a small basement apartment in Queens. The walls were thin, the ceiling was low, and the rent was cheap. That was all I needed. I didn't care about space anymore. I cared about peace. I painted every day again. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. Slowly, things began to change. A cafe agreed to display my work. A local buyer purchased 2 small pieces. It wasn't much, but it was honest money. For the first time in months, I slept without fear. I saved quietly. Every dollar mattered. I knew there was one thing I still had to do. 2 months after I left, I mailed Daniel the full amount of rent I owed. I didn't include a note. I didn't want an apology or forgiveness. I did it for myself. I wanted nothing tying me to that chapter of my life. A week later, there was a knock on my door. When I opened it, Daniel stood there holding the envelope I had sent. "I didn't expect this," he said. "You didn't have to pay." "Yes," I replied calmly. "I did." He looked uncomfortable, smaller than I remembered. "I was wrong," he said. "I let fear control me. I cared too much about what people said, about how it made me look." He paused, then added, "Can I take you out to dinner? Not as your landlord, just as a man who wants to talk." I listened without interrupting. When he finished, I shook my head. "You already made your choice," I said. "You chose comfort over courage." His face fell, but I didn't feel cruel. I felt clear. "I'm not angry anymore," I continued, "but I won't go backward." I stepped aside and opened the door wider. "You should go." Daniel hesitated, then turned and walked away. I closed the door behind him and leaned against it, breathing deeply. For the first time, there was no debt, no shame, no fear. Just me. That night, I painted until sunrise. The colors felt brighter. The lines felt stronger. I wasn't trying to impress anyone anymore. I was telling my own story. Some people think freedom comes from money or approval. I learned it comes from self-respect. Losing that apartment hurt, but losing myself would have hurt more. I didn't need saving. I needed courage. And I finally found it.